Okay, today we are going to discuss the poem To the Nile by John Keats. So, John Keats was one of the major romantic poets in English literature. He's famous for his deep love of nature, imagination, and beauty, and his belief that truth and beauty are one. So, Keat often personifies nature, treating rivers, trees, and mountains as if they have life and feelings. His poetry is musical, full of sensory imagery and emotion. So, this poem actually, this is a sonnet. So, sonnet is a 14 line poem written in iambic pentameter. And this poem, this was inspired by the river Nile in Egypt, which is a very famous river for its ancient history and for giving life to the desert. So Keats explores whether the Nile is truly fruitful or whether people only imagine it that way. Okay, we'll start the poem. Son of the old moon, mountains African. Okay, so I will do this one as I need to write the notes, retype the notes. Here, in the first line. So here, Keats calls the Nile the son of the African mountains. I think when I'm typing like this, it will be really helpful for you all to take down some notes and also me and also it meaning the river is born from the mountains of Africa. And we'll talk about the literary devices. The first one is personification. So here the river is treated like a child with a parent, with a parent for the personification is Old Moon Mountains. Then there is another one which is alliteration. So here the repetition of M sounds gives a musical rhythm. So M sound is here is again the moon mountains alliteration. And there's another thing which is imagery. So you can see the mountains shining, sorry, shining under the moonlight. Okay, then we'll go to the second line. It says, Chief of the Pyramid and Crocodile. Okay, so here the river is called the Chief, meaning the ruler or master of both the pyramids. Okay, so pyramids are the symbol of Egyptian civilization and the crocodiles. Okay, so the crocodiles are the symbol of the river's wildlife. So I will type it in here. So pyramids, symbol of Egyptians, Egyptian civilization, and then crocodiles, symbol of the river's wildlife. Okay. Yeah. So okay, I think I need to delete these things. While you're watching the video, you can just some screenshots, or you can stop the video, you can hold the video and can write those things. Okay, so I'm going to discuss the literary devices. The first one is metaphor. The Nile is compared to a leader that rules over Egypt's symbols. And there is another literary device which is symbolism. So here, the pyramids equals the human history, and then the crocodile equals nature and danger. Okay, that's the second line. Then we'll go to the third one. We call thee fruitful, and that very well. Okay, so here we call you fruitful. So here people believe the Nile gives fertility and life. So I will highlight it. We call thee fruitful. Okay, so here it means people believe the Nile gives fertility and life. And there is, and also here, we call thee. So here the poet directly addresses the Nile as the Old English. So thee means you. The poet directly addresses the Nile as thee, which means you. And also there's irony. So let's see what it's. So here, sorry, Keats says people praise the Nile for being fruitful, but he's about to question whether, I'm sorry, whether that's true. Keats says people praise the Nile for being fruitful, and he's about to question whether that's true. Then the fourth line. A desert fills our scenes in words span. Okay, so I think I need to delete some lines that I have typed, otherwise no sufficient space. So here, the fourth line. So here, while people call it fertile, he says uh, all we actually see, all we actually see is desert. Then also in here, there's some literary devices. The first one is paradox. So fruitful versus desert. So comparing two things which happens in a same situation. So there is imagery. We imagine a barren land instead of a rich one. Okay, then we'll get the fifth line. Nurse of sword, nation since the world began. Okay, so there are some words that we need to identify the meaning. So here, sword means dark skin, dark skin. Okay, so here the Nile has nourished, fed, and care for people of Africa for ages. Type it here. The Nile has, yeah, I will type fed and cared for people of Africa for ages. Okay, then we'll look into the literary devices. The first one is metaphor. The Nile is an us, feeding